Hi everybody, Viana here from maplewoodroad.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable little crocheted pumpkin. Okay, you can make it in about 2 hours. It works up really quickly, and you don't even need to know any complicated crochet stitches. All you're going to need to know is the single crochet and slip stitch, and I'm going to show you how to do increase and decrease, which I know it sounds a little intimidating, but believe me, it's not. It's really easy, and you'll have an adorable little pumpkin to display in your house before you know it. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to learn on how to make this adorable little pumpkin is we're going to have our orange yarn and our F hook. First thing we're going to do, if you don't remember from one of my earlier videos, is we're going to make a magic circle. So you want to leave a little bit of a tail. You're going to wrap around these two fingers twice. You're going to reach through with your hook, grab that, pull it through. And then for this project, we're going to do 6 single crochets around. First, that's just a slip stitch, okay? So then 1 and 6. Then we're going to take this tail, this short tail that we have, and you're going to pull that closed. Now you're going to slip stitch into this first stitch that you made. Okay, so now we have a circle. And this will be the bottom of our pumpkin. So to increase this circle, we're going to do 2 stitches in each of our previous stitches so that we have 12 around instead of 6. So you're going to go 1, you're going to go in that same stitch, 2. I like to pull out just a little bit so I remember where I left off. Sometimes it's hard to tell. You're going to go in the next one. That'll be 3, go in the same spot, 4. You're going to keep doing that all the way around until you have 12. Okay, now I have my 12, so I can see where I left off here. I'm just going to slip stitch into that to close off the circle. Now for the next row, we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to do 2 stitches in each of our previous stitches so that we get 24. Okay, I've finished 24. So I'm just going to slip stitch to close off that round. Okay, we're still going to continue going bigger. So for the next one, we're going to change it up a little bit. If we keep doing doubles in each one, it's going to start to ruffle, and you don't want that. The next thing we're going to do, where we left off, we're going to do 1 single crochet. Then in the next one, we're going to do 2. Then the next one, we're going to do 1. Then the next one we're going to do 2. We're going to continue this way all the way around. Sorry, I lost count there for a second already. We're going to do this all the way around until we have 36, and we wind up back here at the beginning. Okay, so now I've finished my 36. Again, I'm going to slip stitch into that first stitch, close off the circle. Okay, and we're going to continue on this way. So this last row we did every other one. We did 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, then 1, then 2. So the next row we're going to do a single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then do 2. Single crochet in the next 3 stitches, and then do 2. For the row after that, we're going to do single crochet in 5 stitches, and then 2. And the next row, we're going to do 7 single crochets and then 2. And then we'll move on to the next step. So as you're going along, when you're doing the 3 single crochets and then your increase, you want to wind up with 45 stitches around. And then when you do the 5 single crochet and then your increase, when you get to the end here, you'll notice I just did my increase, the 2 stitches in 1, and then I only have 3 spaces left. So you're like, what do I do? So you just want to do so that was 49, so then 50, 51, 52. It doesn't matter that you couldn't finish that pattern. You want to wind up, in the one where you're doing 5 single crochets, you want to wind up with 52 stitches around, and the one with 7, you want to wind up with 57 around. You'll also see that I have these handy dandy little clips that you can clip on your stitch so that you know where you left off. I highly recommend those. If you don't have those, you can even just use a paper clip or something like that. So, all right, we're just gonna keep going now. Okay, now that I've done all of my increasing, now we're gonna start going up the sides. And the way we're gonna do that is we're just going to go around, let me see, what do we have? 57. So we're gonna do 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around, so we'll have 57 around. We're gonna do that 10 times. How we're gonna do it is only a little bit slightly different. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in our first stitch, make a single crochet. Now you're gonna wanna do this. If you don't have these little clips, use a paper clip, use something. Clip it on that first stitch. And when you're going around, make sure that you're picking up both of these loops, okay? Because otherwise you're gonna wind up with a ridge, and you don't want that. Well, maybe you do. Maybe that's the style you're going for, but I don't want that. So I want to make sure to pick up both loops all the way around, 57 times around. But then when we get to the end, we're not going to do that slip stitch. We're just going to keep going. Otherwise, you're going to get like a seam up the side of it. And it just doesn't go for a good look. So you're just going to want to keep going, which is the reason why this clip is so important. And then what I like to do is I just take a pen and I mark down, okay, that was 1 row. And then that was 2 rows. Because otherwise you're gonna lose track. You're like, how many rows did I do? I have no idea, oh my God. So that's just an easy way to keep track of it. How many rows? I mean, if you do 1 or 2 extra rows, it'll just be a little taller. If you do 1 or 2 less rows, it'll be a little shorter. So it's not the end of the world. But just leave this clip here so that each time you come around, you can say, I mean, you still should be counting, but if you lose track, you're like, okay, that's where I should be ending up at the end of each row, and do it 10 times, okay? So then when we finish that, we'll work on the decrease stitch on how to close it back up. So now we've done our 10 rows, 57, and we're gonna learn how to decrease. So basically we're gonna be working kind of backwards from our increase, kind of doing the reverse. So I'm at the end of my row. You can see it lines up with my little clip, which I'm gonna actually take out any moment now. And we're gonna do 7 single crochets, and then we're gonna decrease 2 together. And I'll show you what I mean. So you're gonna do your 7. So that's 1, 7. Okay, now we're gonna do our decrease. What you're gonna do is you're gonna go in your next stitch and yarn over, pull through, just like usual for your single crochet, but you're not going to pull it through. You're going to go in your next one also and pull through. Now you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both, or pull through everything rather. So see what that did was that took these 2 stitches and made it into 1, okay? Okay, so you're just going to keep doing that all the way around. In this row, you should wind up with 51. I don't know why the numbers wind up like these. I am not a math genius. And then we're going to do 5 single crochet, decrease 2 together. You'll wind up with 44. Then 3 single crochets, do a decrease. You'll wind up with 36. And then 1 single crochet, decrease 2 together. You wind up with 24. So then we're going to need to stuff this thing before it gets too tight. Then you can't get your fingers in there. I was able to get to the 1 single crochet, then decrease, then 1 single crochet, then decrease, before I'm starting to feel like I need to start stuffing the pumpkin with the fiber fill. What we're going to do now is we're going to stuff the pumpkin. And I just have a gigantic bag of this fiber fill stuff. So we're going to stuff it. Oh, I should have said earlier too, make sure that you're doing your stitches pretty tightly, especially on this top part when you're decreasing, because you don't want big gaps that you're going to see the fiber fill through it. And don't stuff it too tightly either. You don't want it pressing against the sides too hard, and then it's going to start poking through and you'll see the white. Okay, now we're going to get to probably the trickiest part of this project, and that is to continue crocheting around while it's now stuffed, and keeping it tight. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to keep going around with the one single crochet and then the decrease, one single crochet and then the decrease, until you get almost closed, and then we'll just stitch that closed. That's going to be hidden by the little stem, so it doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. Okay, so now I've got this closed up pretty good. So what I'm going to do is, see, I'm in that last one, I'm just going to pull this through. I obviously cut it. I'm going to grab my yarn needle, and then we're just going to try to stitch this closed. I just like to give it 2 knots, make sure it's good and closed, it's not going to come undone. We're going to cut this off. So for the next part, how we're going to get those grooves in the pumpkin. I got a length of yarn that's about 5 feet long or so. I'd rather have too much than not enough. But you're going to start on the top of the pumpkin. We're going to get the center of our yarn, put it over the middle here, and you're going to wrap it around to the bottom. And you're going to give it a tug. You're going to pull it as deep as you want your grooves. It's totally up to you. Then you're going to give it a twist. It's like wrapping a present. You're going to go 90-degree angle. Get that about even. And pull it up to the top. Those 2 sides. Give it a tug. Again, as much as you want. Okay, twist them. Now I have 4 segments, you can see that. I'm going to go for 8 with this pumpkin. So I'm going to go about in the middle over here, and then flip it. Give it a tug, get those grooves in there. Twist your yarn. And now I'm going to go for these segments. If they're not perfectly spaced, that's fine. You can still play with them a little bit afterwards. All right. Then I'm going to pull that up to the top. Now I'm going to tie it tightly. And you're going to snip it off really nice and short. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make our stem. All right, so now we're ready to make our stem. I went and grabbed my brown yarn for the stem. So what we're going to do with this is leave a bit of a tail. I would leave about at least 6 inches or so, maybe a little more. And you're just going to chain 8. 1, 8. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to do like a turning stitch. A single crochet, you get 1 turning stitch. So that was 1, and then 2, 8. Okay, then we're going to flip it over and do my turning chain. That was 1, 2, 8. One more time, flip it over, chain 1 turning stitch, 2, and 8. Okay, so including the foundation row, it was 4 rows of 8 basically. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it in half lengthwise. And now I'm just going to like slip stitch these 2 sides together. Just going to poke through both and pull through everything. Just to slip stitch everything together. And pull that through. Put my scissors. Put my yarn needle. Just going to tie that end just so it doesn't come undone. And now with this end here, again, we're going to thread our needle. We're going to thread our needle. And we're going to ignore the phone. And we're going to stitch it right on top of this knot that's on top. Try to go underneath as much as you can. There's no magic to this part. Just get it on there as best you can. Be as neat as you can. And then I'm just going to knot it really close to the base so you don't see it much. And voila, a beautiful pumpkin. All right, so that's how you make your pumpkin. So happy holidays. Enjoy your fall, your Halloween, your Thanksgiving, and make sure to proudly display this on your table or on your mantle, wherever you like. And visit us again here at maplewoodroad.com for more fun projects.